Welcome back to another episode of Technology for Independence with Christopher Cooley. Today, Christopher has a number of guests from Angel Sense, so stay tuned. Welcome back to another episode of Technology for Independence with Christopher Cooley. Today, Christopher has a number of guests from Angel Sense, and he's going to be talking with the individuals about how Angel Sense really assists those that have some kind of disability. Chris, it's always a pleasure talking with you.
It's always a pleasure to be here, Patrick, once again. I've seen a lot of individuals talking about Angel Sense. Autism mom talking about having Angel Sense for their child or young adult. And I wanted to bring a group on and talk a little bit about Angel Sense and why does it work for individuals with multiple disabilities and other disabilities? What is the hype of it? I see the hype all over Facebook and TikTok and all over the social media. And so I wanted to hear more about it. So I reached out to Caitlin, and she also brought Melissa and Janie on to talk, and Marcy. So I want to hear from them and learn more about Angel Sense and how Angel Sense can work for individuals. How can we get Angel Sense if we want that extra help? Is it costly? Those kind of things. So Caitlin, I'm going to turn it over to you and let you introduce yourself and a little bit about Angel Sense.
Thanks, Chris, for having us today, and we're really excited to be on this podcast. My name is Caitlin Daigle. I'm the Director of Business Development for Angel Sense. My passion starts from a very, very young age of helping those that have developmental disabilities, from working in schools to being a therapist, all sorts of stuff. And the amount of times that any parent would know, turn your head for 1 second and they're gone. And how are you supposed to catch them? They're so fast. And where are they going? And you want to keep them safe and you want to know what's happening. What Angel Sense can really provide, first of all, is that safety and security. You're not going to have to question it. It's going to automatically let you know. And if you need to, we have an arsenal of tools that you'll be able to use in order to help that individual. And it's not only about just the safety, but once we can secure that, we can really start working on independent skills, which is why we have the built-in speakerphone and all sorts of other stuff that we can really start with someone, even if it's just going to school, making sure they arrive on time, we have little voice reminders to let them know to have a good day or not to forget your lunchbox. And then even when you get older, it's not just for one age, it's for everybody. That you want to go into start employment, or you want to go to a day program and have a little bit of that independence and be able to travel alone. And then also throughout your entire life, the system can really, really help.
So let's hear from Melissa.
Hi, well, thank you so much again. Thank you for having us. We love being a team. We love kind of talking and collaborating and getting the good news out on Angel Sense. My name is Melissa Schuffelbein. I'm a board certified behavior analyst, so I work with kids with special needs all the time. I'm also a parent of a child with special needs who was diagnosed at 2 years old. He was nonverbal and very, very high needs. And I became an Angel Sense user when he was 3 years old, and first day of school, he was put on the wrong bus. And of course, he was nonverbal, so it was very difficult for anyone to help him, for anyone to understand how he could be supported in an instance like that, and then also for them to find me and for me to find him. So it was a very stressful moment. It was heartbreaking for me, and it was really difficult for my son. So I became an Angel Sense user, have been ever since, and now I'm working with Angel Sense families to help use it as a tool for independence. So taking it to the next level. And with my son's story, I was told he'd never talk and he would always rely on me for the rest of his life. And now that couldn't be farther from the truth. He goes to mainstream school. He's not even in special education anymore. He's highly verbal. He has a YouTube channel. And I really do truly attribute a lot of his success to Angel Sense, because had I not had a safe way for him to learn and participate in some of these things like Caitlin was mentioning, he might not have had so much success. So it's a huge part of my life. And I'm so thankful that I get to work with families to have a similar story.
Okay, Jenny, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. And Christopher, thank you so much for inviting us. This is wonderful. I love being able to be a part of things like this where we can share our stories and why we're here. So my name is Jeannie Callahan. I am the Special Accounts Manager at Angel Sense, and I've been with Angel Sense since 2017 as a person who works for the company, and I've been a user since 2016. So I have two children with autism, and my younger son, Tommy, when he was 3, had eloped from my home, nonverbal at the time. And we didn't know he had left the house for 15 minutes before we realized that he was gone. And I was living, I'm from New York. I was living on Long Island, right on the water. So you could just imagine the panic that was going through my body. We did find him, thankfully, but he did elope again about a month later in a very wooded area in upstate New York. And he was fascinated with cars and license plates, so was trying to chase the cars on the road. So we had to find a solution, and we did when we found Angel Sense, and he still eloped. So that's the whole key point of this, is that his elopements, though, went from 30 minutes of panic to 2 to 3 minutes because of the technology and the way that the app works and how proactive that it can be. So I clearly was a fan from the get-go, because we were able to find Tommy every time that he did take off from us, which happens all the time. Anybody that has a child with special needs, I'm sure can share some sort of a similar situation where you close your eyes for 1 second and then boom, your child is gone. So it's just an incredible tool for safety when it comes to people that do elope. And not only children, young adults, even elderly, when you think about wandering situations that can occur, you're able to know immediately that they have taken off from you. And with the app and with all the tools that are involved, you can find them very quickly. You can speak to them and tell them to stay where they are. You can speak to the people around them and tell them, this is so-and-so. They have autism. They're nonverbal. I'm on my way to get them. So there's so many other things that you can do to allow this device to be such an important safety tool if you do have what I call first-class elopers in your life. Now, I could say Tommy's 11. He doesn't elope anymore, or knock wood, he hasn't eloped in years. So you would think, well, why do you still need it? Well, that's sort of what I'm going to piggyback onto what Melissa was saying. It is such an incredible tool for independence. I always joke with people that I always thought Tommy would have my hand imprint around his wrist for the rest of his life, because I have to make sure that I'm on top of him. Can I let him go to school on a bus by himself? Can I let him ride his bike without me hovering over him, or just play out of my line of sight? And you can do that with Angel Sense with all the other features that it has. So it's, I started with safety, and now it's really an independence tool. And what I feel and truly believe will be an extension of him for the rest of his life, because it can allow him to have his typical life that he can possibly have given his disability. So that's kind of my whole journey and why I'm here. Clearly I'm a fan of the product, but I have been working with them for, like I said, over 7 years. And this is my favorite part of my job, that I get to speak to people and explain this wonderful technology, not just from the point of the company and how Angel Sense works, but from the point of a mom who knows that this is something that has changed not only my son's life for the better, but our entire family unit as a whole. So that's me, and that's my little story.
I've heard that you guys have an overview, a video that we can share with others.
Angel Sense is an assistive technology designed to ensure maximum safety, effective remote support, and greater independence for individuals with special needs. It includes an AI-powered monitoring and alerting system, an app for multiple caregivers, and a wearable device with an assistive speakerphone and SOS button. Additionally, the Angel Sense service offers premium customer care that is entirely staffed by special needs moms who use Angel Sense with their own children. When you call, we understand. proven to prevent emergencies related to elopement or transportation and other safety incidents. With AngelSense, children can experience a less restrictive environment and participate in independent activities that might otherwise pose a safety risk. AngelSense was designed to give parents peace of mind with unique features like proactive alerts, all-day, real-time GPS tracking, emergency search and rescue tools, an auto-pickup speakerphone, and a call request capability. Whether the app is open or not, AngelSense keeps parents informed about their child's location in transits, with alerts for arrivals, departures, pickups, drop-offs, and transit movements, and also notifies about unfamiliar or unexpected places. If a notification raises concerns, parents can open the app to see their child's real-time location and route on a map. The parent can then call the child's device's auto-pickup speakerphone to immediately speak with their child or anyone in their surroundings, and this way provide support, guidance, or even prevent emergencies from escalating into dangerous situations. If additional help is needed, at a click of a button, parents can share the child's live location with law enforcement, neighbors, family members, and anyone else that may assist. If the child is hiding or lost in a crowd, an alarm on the device can be triggered and easily be heard. If the child needs help or support, they can press the SOS button on their device to initiate a call. AngelSense is also a tool for skill building and promoting independence. AngelSense ensures safety and enables efficient remote support, empowering thousands of special needs children to take the bus to school, engage in field trips, visit friends' houses, ride bikes around the neighborhood, and achieve numerous milestones their parents never imagined possible. And as a child grows up and begins wanting more and more freedom, the ability to provide effective remote support through the auto-pickup speakerphone and asking for help when needed by pressing the SOS button help them realize their goals. Whether it's going to college or vocational school, getting a job or volunteering, or even living on their own or in an independent living facility, so many parents claim that AngelSense is the reason their children are able to be a part of the community and experience a quality of life they had never even imagined would exist for them. And the independent skills learned positively affect their long-term well-being, leading them to achieve a higher level of confidence and ultimately a better quality of life.
That is an awesome video, guys. Talking about playgrounds and talking about individuals going to higher education in different places. I've heard a lot of parents talk about how their individual child or maybe young adult would lose things that they had with them. They would always lose it. So they decided that they would throw it on a shirt, throw it on a book bag, put it in a sock, or maybe even put it in a shoe. It just amazes me how parents with multiple disabilities, children and young adults and autism, how they come up with their own unique thing to help provide that safety, knowing that their child or young adult's going to lose it. So we got to figure out another way that maybe they won't know it's there. They're still being safe at the same time. It just amazes me at the stories that I hear and I've seen throughout all the social media. So Marcy, tell us a little bit about how you use it and why did you decide to use it?
Well, Chris, thank you for letting us on. I started using AngelSense in 2020 when I became a tech ambassador. We were like their testers, so to seeing how adults liked it. And so I liked it so much because I have remote support. But along this, as I say, with AngelSense makes my secret ingredient. You can use it, Chris. You got the patent. This makes it, with my remote support, I made them my guardian on there. And so they can track where I am. Like they can track it when I went to the mall yesterday. They say you're in the Polaris Mall because I typed in there in a thing on the app that says Polaris Mall, or when I go see my natural support, they know where I am, or they'll say, like they said, in an unknown place. And then what it is that on the app, it's really cool. You take your picture in a circle and they notice where you are, like if you're at home or something like that. And I just think that it's great. It's made me more independent. It's made me with safety with the new. Have you ever heard of self-directed transportation, Chris?
I have.
Okay, so with my self-directed transportation, I wanted to do something a little different and added a little flavor to it. So I already have remote support, and I talk to them on Facebook and on video chat. So when I am in the Uber and the Lyft, but I have my AngelSense by me in my purse. And like if I need help or something like that, I have 212. AngelSense remote support makes a big combo. And so ever since I've been using it, it's like wonderful. I talk about it because I'm a Project Stir State trainer. I talk about how I'm an ambassador for AngelSense and like talk about it wherever I go in my biography. Like I was talking about it when I was at the technology conference for Charting the Life course in Missouri, and everybody never heard of it. So I kind of opened their eyes up there, and now they want to know about it.
Let's say that you're in the Uber and the Uber is going the wrong way, and you know that they're going the wrong way. You can't get a hold of your remote support team to help you. So you can rely on AngelSense to help you and talk to that driver and say, hey, Marky is going to the coffee shop on corner of Broad and High, so we can see where she's going. So we need to get her there safely, right?
Yeah, they help me. Like I've never had that done before, Chris, because I always keep my phone charged and I have my important people on the other line that I can FaceTime with. But when AngelSense is by me, I can just push it and they're there for me and they take care of me. And I think I really feel comfortable. Like I used to be scared to stay home by myself. My mom passed away. So I was like, when I started living by myself, I didn't know what to do. So I got remote support. But when AngelSense came along, it made me feel more independent. Like when I go to take out the garbage or take a walk or go somewhere, maybe I don't have my phone with me. I have AngelSense in my pocket or in my purse.
Is the button the only thing that you guys use? What other equipment or technology do you use?
So it's two different devices. It depends on what's right for the individual. We have the watch option that comes in multiple different bands, looks just like a smartwatch, all that kind of fun stuff. And then we also have a pendant option. What the actual device is doing is relaying that information to anyone. So you know that they're safe and secure, but when they're wearing that, you get to have information, but also be able to talk to them or talk to anybody around them. So we have lots of different wearables, which I think is really important for the sensibility of others. Like even me, myself, I don't like wearing a watch. I don't even wear jewelry. You can see that right now. But I really like taking these things, especially when I travel and I'm on the road, because it's just me and it's a backup. Because what happens if you don't have your cell phone, or what happens if it dies or anything like that? You still have another lifeline essentially to use. And the usability for wearing is so comfortable for anybody. Like what you automatically get. So the watch option, you have the watch, but there also are different bands. So you can choose between those, between removable and non-removable. But we also, with the pendant, you're automatically going to get this fabric sleeve pouch. and the fabric sleeve pouch has this pin. So the way that it works is your caregiver key, and then this is the pin, and you just click it on. It's like those department store security devices. Take it out, pop the device right inside of here, and then you can attach it anywhere on fabric, especially when I'm speaking from a female's perspective. They don't make any of our pockets worth using for anything. So being able for me to put this on a cardigan or just slip it on like my belt line or anything like that, then you know it's not going to go anywhere and it's safe and secure and it's going to be with you. But we also have other options like t-shirts and sports bras and sports shorts, and then even people who tend to remove their clothing. We have this nice sensory friendly belt that works the same way as that pouch. It's cut to fit. It has that little pin in there. You just pop the device right inside of here and you make sure that it's safe on the individual. So it really depends on who is using it and what's right for them.
Say I wanted to get something like that for my mom that had Alzheimer's. How would I go about doing that, and how would I get payment for that?
Yeah, so if you're an individual who has an elderly individual, it's mostly going to be out of pocket, and you're talking about $550 a year, around there. You can expect it. And then if you're actually an individual who actually has a waiver in Ohio, it's 100% covered, and there are a lot of other funding sources that will cover this as well. So it really depends on what each individual has that makes them eligible for that. But if you're going to pay out of pocket, you're talking about $540 a year for the subscription.
Is it a certain waiver that, we
all waivers?
All waivers. What is waiver? What's that mean?
Yeah, so the state of Ohio has this initiative that the DODD pushed down from the governor's office that if assistive technology can help an individual, then it should be first considered. And so when an individual is looking for this type of option and they do have a waiver, then you would be able to go to your county board of developmental disabilities and request that from they're called SSAs, but it's basically your service coordinator. And you say, I want this, and these are the reasons that I want and need this. This isn't just a want, it's a need and a necessity. And then they can actually provide funding for that.
So who would I contact to get eligibility for Angel Sense?
So if you had waivers or anything like that, I would definitely check with the Department of Disabilities. If you're elderly, then I would check with the Department on Aging. But other than that, we can absolutely provide our website, and our customer care team is amazing. They're all parents who use the device themselves, either with their children or even their parents who are elderly that have dementia. And so when you call, you're not getting it's not a call line. You're getting specific people that really, truly understand. And we're not going to kick you off the phone because we truly care, because we've been in these situations. So it depends on each individual. But I would say for sure, check out the website and then go from there, because our customer service support team is amazing and will take care of you.
So if you had positive that you would like for the listening audience to know?
I'm going to leave that to the actual users, Melissa, Jeannie, and Marcy. You guys say how it's impacted you literally the most and how you can share that with everyone.
I'll quickly say that it's definitely changed our lives for the better. It's allowed me to not have that just, hand on the wrist of my son. It's allowed him independence, and it's really done wonders for his social well-being. So it's been a game changer for us, and something that I know that we could not live without. So incredibly positive for me. Melissa, I'll let you go.
I would have to say the same. I mean, when you get a diagnosis and you're told things about your child, like he'll never do this, he'll need you. It's almost like your child's story has been written already and you don't have any control over that. But Angel Sense allowed us to totally rewrite his story and give him his own voice and his own story, and just the ability for him to have independence in his life, and for that to be on the horizon for him, that he may very well just have a job and live independently, is just, that wouldn't be the case without Angel Sense. And I can't even begin, that positive doesn't even begin to explain the impact that it's had on our lives.
It's helped me so much. It's like I said before, it's changed my life. I mean, like, I'm so thankful that I have this and the Angel Sense team. When I first got it, I started promoting it, but then I grew to love it. And Caitlin is right. It does come out of your waiver. It took me 2 years to get it in my waiver. I mean, like, I had to really, really advocate it because it had to be a need and they wanted to know a lot of stuff. So finally, this year, I got it in my waiver. So Chris, if you would want to try it, talk to your SSA and see if you can get it in your waiver. And if they say, why would you need it, give them the whole enchilada, why you need it. And maybe that can happen for you too.
And anyone else that's listening.
Yep.
Hey, this has been Technology for Independence with Christopher Cooley. Today, discussed with a number of representatives from Angel Sense, a remote support service. All, thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you all for coming.